right, I'll put on the wee cap for the recap. So, last time, basically, you know, we were recovering. We had fought our way out, and so we needed a long rest. And then we were kind of helping people because somebody collapsed the city. So we were helping, you know, helping a bit with that, managed to head off a gang war, and then went to Ilra, who gave us a quest basically, well, on the lowdown to like deal with Lilton, apparently, because he's apparently a really powerful badass. And Cecilia was very happy to take that quest, I think. But and meanwhile, of course, we know that we pissed off the Night Masks, so they're probably coming for us.
What? No.
I know, right? So
I think they're scared of us.
I mean, it's like you can't kill somebody's leader and collapse their entire like lair on their heads without any consequences. What's the world coming to? Anyway, my printer's going off. Just ignore that. Anyway, what I wanted. So since we like were so desperate for a rest the last couple of times, I thought I'd talk really quick. I was like, I wasn't exactly clear on all the rest stuff, so I thought I'd share a little bit of information about short and long rests. Why not? So, really quickly, a short rest is like 1 hour during which you just don't do anything more strenuous than eating or drinking or reading, that kind of thing, and you can roll hit dice and add your constitution modifier to like regain hit points, which is cool, I guess. And then warlocks, of course, get all their spells back. They're like super powerful. I wish we had one in our party because that would be very cool. Like on a short rest, that's pretty sweet. Or a monk who get all their key points back. But anyway, and most people have to take a long rest to get their spells back, and except for sorcerers who have some way around that with sorcerer points or something. I don't know. They're like in a frequent sorcerer spell shop or club or something. I don't get it. But anyway, you can get your channel divinity back if you're a cleric. Short naps are pretty good. And there's this spell called Catnap. I didn't know this. That's a 3rd level spell that like you can cast it, and up to 3 people at your base level get like the full benefits of a short rest in just 10 minutes. What? Which would be, I know, it would be pretty powerful. Like, you know, it'd be pretty handy when you're like worn down and you just can carve out 10 minutes to like really quick recharge and heal your group. And so that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. And you can take as many short rests as you want in a day. There's 24 hours in a day, I think, in Faerun. I don't know. So that's 24 short rests. Although, of course, if you're a lazy sod, then no one's going to want you in their party if you're just resting all day. I mean, that's pretty useless. A long rest is 8 hours, but you only have to like really be sleeping for 6 of that, and then just kind of rest and chilling for like 2 of that. But and you regain all of your hit points, and you regain your hit dice that you spent up to like half your max. So if you use 6 hit dice and you only get 4 back, well, you're still down 2. So that sucks, but it's not bad. You can only take 1 long rest in a 24-hour period. So anyway, that's all like the boring, you know, statty stuff. But I did a bit of research, and I looked up activities that burn the same amount of calories as or less than eating and drinking and reading. So the kinds of things you can do while you're just chilling in a short rest or a long rest. And so, you know, while Caliph is researching necromancy, or folks are reading the Westgate broadsheets or whatever kind of reading you're doing, you can do also these other things. I mean, of course, you could paint minifigures or sort your dice in the order of good dice, who will get to stay in the nice case tonight, and those who betrayed you and shall be cast out into the cold and probably melted. Or you can listen to Stong's music or one of Sturge's puppet shows. You know, that's pretty passive. That's not bad. Also, I thought knitting and sewing. I can't believe we're not like doing more knitting and sewing in our group, because we've just got all this time where we're just chilling. And this is something you can do on a short rest or a long rest. I was thinking, you know, Artemisia could knit like a cute doggy sweater for Jigglewolf, or she'd probably just actually design it and have someone else do it. But, you know, Caliph could knit a nice horse blanket for Dumpling. Or I could totally see Sturge, who is very dexterous, like secretly knitting little booties for Mirabelle, and then like, you know, strongly denying that he ever did it if confronted, since he has to maintain his like, you know, tough underworld, you know, reputation and all. But you can do, oddly, chemistry lab work came up when I was looking at calorie count for activities. So, you know, I imagine if Sturge is sitting around, she can mix some potions, or Stong could make one of his strange, smelly swamp stews, you know, in the kitchen, as long as he's not chopping too vigorously or like lifting giant pots or anything. And you can like wrap presents was another activity that actually came up. So, like, the fabulous presents that Cecilia gave us way back when she first returned to Westgate. Oh, so beautifully wrapped in the torn red robes of dead necromancers. I believe there was like a lovely bone flute for Stong, and a necklace with a dragon claw pendant for her sister Artemisia, and a notebook with missing pages for Calith, and a pair of dice with skulls for Sturge, which is pretty cool. And of course, I got a lovely bag of teeth. But, obviously, those were very carefully and thoughtfully picked out, and not at all just scavenged off the dead bodies of her fallen enemies at last-minute bribes to create a sense of obligation and reciprocal debt in us, since she doesn't believe we could all possibly just be her friends because we like her for herself or something. No, not at all, no. So, anyway, wrapping presents, totally doable in a short or long rest. Killing red wizards and necromancers to get them, only if it's a long rest and you take less than 59 minutes to do so, because at least that's my interpretation. It says if you do any strenuous activity for at least an hour, it ruins your long rest. So I'm thinking if you do it at only 59 minutes, you're good. So, and which brings us to the last, of course, the most important, which is hanky panky, or getting it on until the break of dawn. Now, if we're talking about just keeping it at the light activity level, such as reading and tending wounds, then, kissing, hugging, and spooning without, any hanky-panky, that's all perfectly fine. As is sort of more passive participation, if you're just basically laying there and, enjoying the fine efforts of your partner. Now, again, long rest says it is interrupted by that hour of strenuous activity, so 59 minutes of strenuous lovemaking is fine on a long rest. Which is basically, a decent quickie if you're Stong, or like 59 lovemaking sessions if you're Sturge. Oh, just kidding. We all know you don't have naughty beds and you don't, you don't get that sort of activity. But again, Sturge, you don't need the naughty bits to benefit from human touch and sensuality. So, or the many other physical means of pleasure, my friend. So anytime you'd like some hands-off coaching or advice, I am here for you, my friend. Anyway, that's my understanding of short and long rest. I hope this was educational for you. And that's the Rogar's recap. Back to you, omniscient narrator god.
The moral of this story appears to be, if you want your rest, stay away from the high constitution character. Okay, so